Hey everybody, it's Eddie from Tokyo. This is your cryptocurrency update from Japan. And in this video, we're going to talk about rumors, lies, mistakes, and FUD, something that we don't have a shortage of. But first, I want you to know that the Binance research was published for the Q2 of 2019. It's very interesting. We find that there is still a very high correlation or connection between the alts, the top leading 30 crypto assets by market cap, and BTC. Even though there was a dip, there is still a very high connection. I'm going to put a link to it in the description below. I think you can really get a feel for how the market is maturing by looking at this report. Okay, let's go to the rumors. So somebody out there is spreading a rumor that the SBIVC trade live board will be implemented tomorrow. I can tell you that I haven't seen anything of the sort, so I can't find any proof to that. And sometimes these rumors just take a life on their own. I do think if you want to be one of the first to know, you should follow the SBIVC trade Twitter site or the website, which has a notice board. Also, too, there'll be some XRP community members from Japan, I'm sure, that will be tweeting it out. If we don't hear from one of those three sources, then I think you'll be able to get something from the quarterly presentation to the shareholders at the end of this month, because Mr. Kitao will be talking about the results of April, May, and June. When? Well, I don't know. From previous quarterly presentation timings, I think it'll occur sometime between the 24th and 26th of this month. I don't know. Don't spread a rumor, but I think it'll happen on one of those days. One thing I can tell you for sure is that because it's now a separate entity, it tracks as a separate business unit with its own profit and loss. They have just a couple of days ago, you can see here, 7 of 2019, they put together a very good detailed summary and breakdown of exactly how the business is going to operate. And I can tell you for sure that they have 18 million in reserve capital to bring it to the next level. Okay, here's a rumor that I think is really fun. I wasn't going to get involved in this, but Lionel DM'd me for some information in regards to the Sumitomo Bank, because everybody's talking about many of the Ripple banking partners are going down for maintenance this weekend, and people are wondering if it's a coincidence or if it's some coordinated orchestrated event. I am not sure, but I will tell you that one thing is for sure is that you can see here that with the Sumitomo Bank, the foreign currency deposits are going down for system maintenance tonight from 2100 till 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, and you won't be able to do any trading. They let everybody know this on July 5th. 2019. I don't know what to tell you, but I have to just kind of sit back and enjoy and watch it unfold. You know, rumors sometimes are just nothing but rumors. Sometimes there is some truth, a little bit of truth to rumors. Like when the MoneyGram rumor went out, it wasn't 100% correct, but there was some truth to it. So in this particular case, I just don't know. All right, this is one now. We're going to move to the lies. So this is the real article that was written in, there was two articles, one in February and one in, was an updated version in April. It was put out by the Ripple Coin News, and they did an article about the Ripple price predictions hitting $10 in 2018. And here is the actual article. And I'm going to show you the actual tweet that took place from the media manager who put out the tweet. He shared the article. So this is the article. And the date was the 12th of February, 2018. Everybody was feeling very bullish at that time. And you can see that he wrote Ripple price predictions XRP/USD 2018, the exact same thing as the title. So this is the tweet. And then what happened next is a lot of media outlets started to write things like this in their articles, that Yoshitaka Kitao said that Ripple will hit $10 this year. Well, that is really stretching the truth. That is just not the case. And then we have Dr. T, who was able to debunk somebody who was floating an image out there around of that tweet. But look at this, it was actually the next day. So they did it up in Photoshop and changed it to say something at the fact that he just needs to press a button and SBI will kill the competition. In fact, the actual tweet itself is written in very poor English. The grammar was terrible. And Mr. Kitao, who has a really superb education, would never have written his English like this. Anyway, so I will put a link to this thread of where you will see that this tweet was not a real tweet, and it was just changed. Someone changed the tweet content, and still, Friday, this was still floating around out there. I don't know, either by gullible people or by haters, but this still is floating around, and I'm just telling you that it is not true at all. All right, and this is now going into the mistakes. Now, everybody makes mistakes because we are human, and I don't fault anybody for making a mistake, but this should be said that SBI stands for Strategic Business Innovator. There are hundreds of documents out there that will show you that this happens to be an annual report of SBI Holdings, but it'll show you that that is what SBI stands for. It doesn't stand for SoftBank. And I think some people are confused out there just because Mr. Kitao used to work for SoftBank more than 20 years ago. And it was the founder of SoftBank that gave him the initial seed capital to start SBI, but they have nothing to do with each other at this point. They might have done some group joint investing in projects since over the last 20 years, but in terms of being connected, no. SBI is a separate entity, and this SBI doesn't stand for SoftBank. And if you ever wanted to see the shareholders in SBI or the joint companies that SBI has, all that information is there because it is a public company and it's very transparent. All right, let's move to the FUD. So some people think this is a FUD article. Actually, I don't think it's a FUD article at all. This is the deputy governor, and on Friday he spoke to Reuters, Mr. Masayoshi Amamiya, and it's not Mamma Mia, it's Amamiya, Ama, his kanji reign, and Mia meaning palace or imperial place or shrine. Very interesting last name. So I don't know, maybe you can say the imperial place of reign. I don't know. But he was talking to Reuters, and he has not changed his narrative at all. In fact, this is the same thing he said in 2018, that the Bank of Japan, the BOJ, has no plans to issue a central bank digital currency directly to consumers. So that's the caveat, directly to consumers, because it will undermine the existing two-layer system and it may affect stability. So the central banks are here. They service the private banks who then provide the services to the consumers on a face-to-face level. And changing that system, he thinks, without proof of stability, is, in his opinion, a course he doesn't want to take. So basically, he is focused on hitting that 2% inflation rate target, and he outlines the 4 options that he believes he has. The first one is to deepen negative rates, or to cut long-term bond yields to 0%, or ramp up the asset buying, or accelerate the pace of printing money. Wow, quadruple yikes to me, very slippery slope. But you can see that if the central bank issues these digital currencies, it might lead to replacing private deposits that could erode commercial banks' credit channels. And he sees this would result in a negative impact on the economy. So households and companies will want to hold cash, he thinks, especially if banks try to apply the negative rates against these digital currencies. And he thinks that the only way to overcome that would be for central banks to eliminate cash. And he says no central bank is wanting to do that. So he's in a pickle. And I just think that the article's not FUD at all. He is just not willing to change that structure right now. And as for Libra, he says that there is potential that with the global user base it has, it could be enormous. So he's really paying attention to that space. And I can tell you there are lots of projects going on with digital tokens that are being issued by banks here, and they are standing back and letting the innovation happen. They're not stepping in and stopping it. He's just saying in this article he doesn't want to issue the central bank digital currencies to consumers. So I think, they are very conservative and they're taking a very cautious approach. Okay, everybody, let's go to the fluff. This is the actual Bank of Japan building. It's beautiful, don't you think? It has great presence in the center of the financial district in Tokyo. And I want to share with you that it was a location of the gold seed during the Edo period. Edo is the old word of Tokyo before it opened itself up to the west. Now, the architect for that building, his name is Tatsuno Kingo, and he did a lot of great buildings around Japan. But when he did decide on how to move forward with that architecture, he went to Western countries. He spent 14 months looking at architecture, and he said he finally settled on modeling it after the Belgian central bank. That building has 3 floors. It has a basement. It is in the style of neo-Baroque, and it was one of the first big modern buildings to have flush toilets, elevators, and fire protection shutters. So it was very, very modern for its day. And here is another building that he designed. It is one of my favorites. It's the Tokyo Station, and it is a night shot of how they light it up. It's just spectacular. I hope you get to see it someday. Just think it's one of my favorites in Tokyo. He was a great architect for sure. And this is the actual aerial view of the BOJ building. And if you notice, it is in the same shape as the kanji character yen. It's kind of fun trivia. And next to it, there is a currency museum. And in the 11th and 12th century in Japan, actually, they were trading rice, silk, and cloth for money. It wasn't until the middle of the 12th century that large amounts of coins started to come in from China and then began to spread in Japan. And then late in the 16th century, gold and silver were widely used. And then 100 years later, came in the paper money. And in 1858, Japan signed the money treaty with the US, UK, Russia, and the Netherlands, along with 5 French states, and they became quite Western after that. Now, if you're not interested in this period of architecture, you might be interested in more modern architecture when you come to Japan. I recommend you visit this building here. This is in Shinjuku. This is just a small slice of the skyline of Tokyo. It is a 360-degree view, but this is the Mode Gakuen Fashion School building. It was built in 2008. It actually has 3 schools of fashion inside. It is called the Huge Cocoon Tower. If you go to coolphotojapan.com, he has some very cool photos of this building. So if the modern doesn't fancy you, you can still see a lot of really great old buildings too in Japan. This is an example of a street that has kept its old buildings intact, and I think these are just as wonderful to visit. But if you want to see a combination of the two, there is an architect by the name of Kengo Kuma, who is a superstar. He is creating the architecture of the future, in my opinion. He's also the designer of the Tokyo 2020 Olympics National Stadium. His signature is his use of wood. This is the Fujiya Ryokan, and it is north of Tokyo in Yamagata. It's called Ginzan, and it is a place to rest your body and your soul. Let me show you what the room looks like. Wow, I'm just speechless. Look at the simplicity. Wow. I just love it. And he also has very unique bathrooms. And not only do you have a bathroom, but you also have your own private hot spring. And here is what you might enjoy if you go there. This is really a place to have quiet time. It was opened in 2006. I think it's one of the most popular getaway places in Japan. So anyway, I hope you can enjoy the architecture and a Rokon when you come to the country. All right, sayonara for now. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.